coming in this update. And his name is Leon.
Leon is a medium-range brawler, but what's really cool about him is his super. It's invisibility.
His super lets him go invisible for a short amount of time, also taking damage.
Introduce the new brawler, Gene.
That brand new brawler. His name is Carl, and he is a pickaxe-wielding geologist from the gem mine. His main attack is throwing that pickaxe like a boomerang, and his super allows him to leap forward with a whirlwind attack, damaging all of the brawlers around him.
Let's talk about our newest brawler. Her name is Rosa, and she's a boxing botanist who has survived in the jungle by punching plants in the face. Danny, what is her main attack?
So her main attack is called Hands of Stone and works pretty much like El Primo's attack, but it's a bit wider.
And her super is really cool. It's a brand new mechanic in the game. She'll have a shield that is made from tough vines that decreases all of the damage she receives.
And since she came from the jungle, her star power is called Plant Life, and it makes her regain health every time she's inside a bush, which makes probably the most tankiest brawler in the game.
And that is Rosa, our newest, coolest, plantiest brawler that will come in this update.
Is that her name is Bibby, and she's badass girl with her trusted baseball bat, and she's gonna wreak havoc on the battlefield.
So how about her game mechanics?
So, unlike other brawlers, she has a little something extra. She has 3 swings with her baseball bat, but if she's not using any of them, there's a small extra bar which charges. If that bar is full, her next swing also knocks back enemies. And if you want to learn more about her, keep an eye out for videos from your favorite brawl YouTuber. This update is a new brawler. His name is Tick.
Tick is a metal ball of barely containable energy. His main attack is throwing proximity mines onto the battlefield that will detonate when enemy brawlers walk over them, or after a short delay. And his super is amazing. He detaches his head, throws it on the battlefield, and it will go homing after enemy brawlers until it explodes. But if you're on the enemy team, you can shoot and destroy that head before it gets to you. Finally, we have some really good news because Tick is free for all players after 4,000 trophies on the trophy called 8-Bit. He's a little arcade machine that will run around the battlefield shooting a laser. And he's super tanky. He's quite slow, wouldn't you say?
Super slow. I think it's the slowest brawler ever.
He's by far the slowest brawler. He's got feet made of cement, or I don't know what arcade machines are made of.
It's very old, you know.
It's very old. But his super is really neat. He's got a turret he can throw on the battlefield, and any brawler on your team within this turret's range gets a damage boost.
And also, he will be in the trophy road at 6,000 trophies.
That's the one. So if you're above 6,000, you get 8-Bit for free. And he's really, really fun to play. We had a good time with him. Do it. Sandy is our newest legendary brawler. He's really cool. Looks a little bit like Tara and Jean, I would say.
Yeah, kind of purplish.
Kind of purplish. Now, Sandy's a bit sleepy, and his main attack is, of course, throwing sand. So he throws sand at his opponents, and it kind of goes through them, similar to Nita or Tara or Poco.
Throwing sand isn't a low blow.
It's a very dirty move. Sandy's not the nicest brawler.
And his super, he actually throws a sandstorm in the field. And then every brawler that's there, every ally brawler, not every brawler, that is there is invisible.
That's right. And in addition, Sandy's star power, for those in that field, enemies will be damaged while they're there. B, she's an entomologist and Rosa's assistant.
So her main attack, she needs to hit her target, so her next hit gets stronger.
That's right. She's got a sniper attack that uses bee helper drones as the bullets. And her super is really cool. She actually fires a little swarm of bees that can go through walls and slows them.
There's also Max. She wants to be a superhero, but she's not quite there, so she drinks a lot of energy drinks and she uses turbines to go super fast.
Max is super duper speedy, and she fires a lot of quick bursts of bullets. Her super attack is really, really special. She drops this little radius that speeds up all friendly brawlers around her, so you can race across the battlefield.
Can you imagine 8-Bit running that fast?
Normal speed, 8-Bit is real. Have a new brawler. His name is Mr. P. He's an amazing brawler. His main attack is a little bit of a shooting projectile, and then when it hits its target, it does a little bounce with some area of effect damage.
His super is a spawning item, and from this item you have little penguin drones spawning, and these then go on and attack enemies with a ranged attack.
So let's start with the things we are seeing in March. First, the brawler, Jackie.
That's right, Jackie is a new super rare brawler coming with the update. She's very loud, she has a jackhammer, and because her tools are so loud, she annoys the out of Carl.
She's part of the Carl and Mike gang, and you can see her hopping with her jackhammer. And her attack, you don't have to aim. It's just like an area around her, which means that's really strong, but you have to be close to the brawler to actually do some damage.
That's exactly right, and her super's really neat. It pulls in all nearby brawlers and does damage to them.
Hello.
Gail. Gail is a cranky old guy, and he's somewhat of a janitor in Mr. P's hotel. He's overworked, he's carrying way too heavy luggage for his age, and genuinely, he should have been replaced by a robot years ago.
His main attack is throwing multiple snowballs at his enemies, and his super is like a snowblower that blows brawlers away like a gale wind.
So Gail will be our first chromatic brawler, and he's a guaranteed drop in the Brawl Pass, but he's also available for everyone else at legendary probability.
Brawler for you called Surge, and he's maybe one of the most unique brawlers we've ever made.
His main attack is kind of like a combination of Spike and Gene. You throw a projectile, and then when it hits the enemy, it divides into other projectiles.
That's right, and his super is really interesting. Every time you use Surge's super, he upgrades himself, and his attacks become different, and he becomes stronger. You can do that a maximum of 3 times, but if you're defeated, you lose all those upgrades, so stay alive.
In addition, we have
Brawler Amber. She's a legendary and she's all about fire. To compete with Poco and El Primo as entertainers, she decided to juggle fire, spit fire, and she's not very good at it.
Her main attack is a new unique mechanic where as long as she's aiming the attack button, she will deplete ammo with that fire.
And her super, once again, is throwing a bottle of oil. It spills then on the ground and she can ignite it. It stays there for a while, so she can just save it up for the right moment.
and she'll be available on the day after the update, both in boxes and in the shop. Now for his
Holiday getaway.
takes me to the chromatic brawler Lou.
Lou is the newest brawler. He's the 3rd member of Gail and Mr. P's trio. He is a happy robotic snow cone machine.
So for his main attack, he throws snow cones. Every time he hits the enemy gets a snow cone mark. If the enemy gets a certain number of snow cone marks, the enemy gets frozen for some seconds.
His super is throwing cold syrup all over the ground that makes it super slippery for enemy brawlers.
And 2 important changes for the chromatic brawler. So now you can only find it in box when you hit tier 30 in the pass. And also when you find it, it affects your drop rate chances like any other brawler.
And don't forget, collect your Season 1 rewards before Season 4 starts. Let's start right off the bat with our newest brawler, Byron. He is a sinister salesman who is also a support brawler. He is going to be the 3rd member of Piper and Barley's trio, and he can sell you whatever you need to boost you up or damage your enemies.
Byron plays a little bit differently than our previous support brawlers. His attacks either harm the enemy with a damage over time, or they heal his friends with a heal over time. So exactly what you need in the right situation.
And for his super, Byron will throw a vial on the floor that will damage or heal a brawler depending on whether it's an enemy or a friend.
Byron is a mythic brawler, and he will be available the day after the update.
13 presents.
A new brawler?
Better.
2 new brawlers?
Better.
Oh no, you didn't.
That's right. While we have Frank distracted in the studio, we made our 2nd brawler free. His name is Edgar, and he is epic.
Edgar is an edgy teenager who works together with Colette in the gift shop. He wants to be cool and mysterious, but he can't quite pull it off really.
He's a fast melee brawler who attacks with his scarf, but He has pretty low health, which is why he also heals when he attacks.
His super, very much like Daryl, charges by itself, and it makes him leap over obstacles to get close up to his prey. So you can wait and see for the best moment and then leap on your target.
Edgar is going to be free during the Brawladays, so be sure to grab him when he comes out. At Force Spaceship, he is a master strategist, our newest chromatic brawler, and a dog?
Now for Ruff's main attack, he shoots 2 parallel projectiles that when it hits a wall it bounces. So it's kind of like Rico's, but a bit different because it's 2 at the same time, so you can have like interesting results.
Colonel Ruffs is a support brawler, so for his super, he brings down a supply drop from space that can damage enemies when it lands and brings power up for your team.
Brawler, right?
That's right. Stu is a sentient crash test robot and is used to test attractions in the Star Park. However, as user studies have shown, people really like to see him crash, so he ended up being in a stunt show.
He's our new Trophy Road Brawler, and his main attacks are shots of pyrotechnics from his fingertips. And you think it's simple because they follow like a straight line. However, the twist is that it charges a super with only 1 hit.
Okay, and the super is a dash forward, short range, leaves a trail of fire behind it, and has knockback. And that comes in especially handy when you play a game mode like Brawl.
True. And he's free at 10,000 trophies in the trophy to our Wild West roots with Belle.
Belle is the chromatic brawler of the season. She's an outlaw who likes to rob banks in any town she can find.
And she's a sharpshooter, and with her main attack, she attacks the target and the projectile keeps bouncing back and forth among the enemies until they spread out.
That's right, and for her super, she fires a special bullet. Then after it hits the target, that target will take extra damage from any source.
And she's also getting a killer. We present to you Buzz.
Buzz is the lifeguard of the Velocirapids water park and is also the chromatic brawler for this season.
So he's not very good at his job due to his size and his short arms, but he loves to enforce rules and tell people what to do, or better, tell people what not to do.
Speaking of what not to do, if I was you, I would run away from him. He's a short-range brawler who throws a series of punches.
But running might not be enough, because with his super, he can throw his life buoy at an enemy or a wall, and then he can pull himself towards it. And then if he does that against a brawler, he can stun the brawler for a short while.
And he also plays in a punk band, so Born Bad Buzz is exclusive skin for this season.
And the first skin of this season, Surfer Carl.
But Cal is not the only one. Oh yeah, Colette's and Edgar's boss, Grief. He's an epic brawler. He's very greedy and, to be honest, not the most caring person. He uses tips from Edgar's and Colette's tip jar to attack.
And those tips work in an interesting way. He tosses 9 coins and they spread out the further they go. So you can annoy people from very far, but the real damage happens if the enemy is next to you.
As for his super, he throws 5 sharp-edged banknotes in a white cone, dealing damage on the way in and on the way back. The farther away the opponents are, the greater is the damage. And on the way back, they can go over walls.
And look at that. You can get Grief for free with a challenge in July. And if you beat the challenge, you get Grief before everyone else.
But don't worry, if you don't beat the challenge, you will be able to get Grief any whole season.
Our next chromatic brawler is Ash, the Trash Knight.
Ash is a very grumpy cleaner at the castle courtyard. And due to the big amount of trash and rats that he finds out there, he needs to protect himself with an improvised armor, which is an actual trash bin.
As for his main attack, he creates a shockwave when he hits the ground with his broomstick, and everyone that is in line will get hit by it. And also, it charges his rage bar.
But his rage bar also gets charged when he gets hit, because it makes so much noise inside his last-minute armor that he just gets angrier and angrier.
And when his rage bar gets fully charged, he gets stronger and faster for a short while. And also, he's not alone in the battle against Dirt.
Because for his super, he gets help from his RATS bot, which will attack the closest enemy they find.
In the Once Upon a Surge trio, and she's a vending machine repair girl, which is super smart, but she also wants to be a hero like Max and Surge.
But Max doesn't think she's ready yet, so she never lets her join the battle. But it doesn't matter, because Meg always goes anyway.
So Meg has a small bolt gun and does little damage from a medium range. And she also doesn't have a lot of health points.
But that's okay, because the magic happens when she charges her super.
That's right, Paula. When she uses her super, she calls her vending machine repair bot and she becomes unstoppable.
Her main attack then becomes 2 deadly laser cannons that shoot 8 projectiles rapid fire.
And her super button gets a different mechanic. It becomes a secondary attack that deals massive damage to all the enemies within its range.
And this one charges itself pretty quickly, but it doesn't charge with the bot's main attack.
But be careful, because when Meg is on her bot, her HP starts to decay slowly, so it's only a matter of time until she goes back to her initial form.
However, once her health points reach 0, her bot breaks and she's back in the match. So the only way to defeat her is by eliminating her initial form.
Meg is our 6th legendary brawler, and she's coming to the game.
Nomadic brawler of this season. She's a movie star in Bollywood who is extremely obsessed with herself and will do whatever it takes to always be in the spotlight.
She's also into bright and shiny things. With her main attack, she uses the diamond eyes of her fake fox scarf to shoot sparkly stars that deal damage in a tight and mid-range cone.
And for her super, she throws her diamond necklace on the floor, performing a scenic trick that creates a duplicated image of herself.
This clone has less health than the original Lola, but will follow her moves and mimic her powers. So whenever she attacks, her reflection will attack as well.
And don't miss Chola, the new exclusive skin that
A security guard in the castle in Star Park who is best friends with his walkie-talkie and terrified of kids?
Yep, so to hide his fear, he uses a happy-looking hoodie over his face.
He's a damage dealer who's throwing bombs that explodes in 4 different directions when they touch the floor.
His super is very similar, but a lot bigger, more destructive, and it can also destroy walls.
So how is this related to Brawly Days?
Because you can get him for free during the Brawly Days challenge, which starts on December 23rd. The format will be similar.
New Brawler. Fang will be our next chromatic brawler coming with the new Brawl Pass season in January. He works at the local cinema in Star Park, but he's also an aspiring actor, usually in lower budget martial art movies.
Fang is a melee brawler that can kick everyone in his way. Unlike El Primo, Rosa, or Buzz, he doesn't throw a series of attacks, but just one instead, which is harder to hit but does a lot more damage.
And if he misses his kick, his shoe flies away in the same direction of his attack. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but could be a good strategy to charge up his super. It also looks funny too.
His super is quite different though. He unleashes a powerful flying kick that if it hits an enemy, it will connect to another target, if the target is within Fang's super range. This can happen up to 4 times in total. He could literally wipe a whole team with just one super if you play it right.
Since Fang is the chromatic brawler of this update, he received a skin at the last year of the season. She's a very small alien flea in a spaceship who is joining Ruff's trio.
She's a loving mother that just wants to find a place for her babies, even if that means disintegrating anyone in her way.
With her main attack, she shoots 3 eggs in a row. They all have different sizes and damage.
And with her super, she releases a big egg that hatches after some seconds and spawns 3 hatchlings. If the hatchlings are not destroyed before latching onto the closest enemy, they will deal damage over time.
Eve has a very unique trait too. Since she's flying on her spaceship all the time, she can hover over certain terrains like water and holes.
She's all
Also part of Stu's trio. All of them perform on Star Park's stunt show.
She's a reckless and overly excited girl who's famous in the park for her most daring trick, being shot from a cannon.
Which leads me to her abilities. So she has 2 different forms that can be activated by pressing the super, kinda like Meg. But the difference is that she can only go to her default form if she uses her super again.
So in her cannon form, she moves slowly and can attack from far. She has only 1 ammo slot, so she can't unload her ammo too fast.
And with her super, she shoots herself from her cannon and deals damage when landing. It will also activate her second form.
In her outside the cannon form, she moves super fast and deals lots of damage at close range. And when she uses her super again, she takes some time to transform into cannon mode, but when she does, she regains part of her health back.
And Bonnie will be available later in the season.